Well, good evening, Internet. It's me, DP Knudten, for another exciting edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And that done is all about getting a new book written by January 1st, 2021, and uploading it to Amazon's Kindle Direct publishing space, where I will be self-publishing a brand new book just in time for the new year. Now, you've already seen the cover of the book, but I'm going to show it to you again. It's called NONFICTION BRAND, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. And that's what the book's about, and that's what I'm going to be working on tonight in one form or another. So the question is, what form is that work going to take tonight? Well, to be honest, I think it's probably going to take the form of looking at Scrivener, the application that I'm using to actually write this thing, and get that out of the way. Looking at this section, I'm not liking this. Check your alignment and calibrate as necessary. All right, so this is a new section about my friend Bea Pole-Bokor from Nelson, New Zealand. And we talked for about 2 hours yesterday. Had a really great conversation because I don't want to say we're the same person. We're certainly not, but we're like-minded. And consequently, anybody who's like me in any way, one form or another, I got to take advantage of, because let's face it, let's just say DP is an acquired taste that most people have chosen not to acquire. Just saying. And also I want to give you a disease update. If you've watched any of these in succession, you've seen me go, oh, I'm so tired. I feel like crap. Could this be COVID? No, it's just an upper respiratory viral thing. Well, today, finally, I've got another potential diagnosis of Lyme's disease, or Lyme disease, depending on if you want to give Lyme, Connecticut, the credit for having this disease. I was in a tick-infested area. I didn't know I got a tick bite, but I must have, etc. So anyway, this is going to be another 3 weeks or so of exciting, fun, yum time. With a whole course of antibiotics or whatever it is. But anyway, it's not stopping me from doing this, and I don't like to complain, so I'm going to stop complaining and go back to what I was talking about, which is this section about Bea. There she is right there. Really cool woman from Hungary, raised by a diplomat. Her father was a diplomat for the Hungarian government. She went into diplomacy after college and everything. And then she and her partner one day were kind of touring the world and ended up in New Zealand and said, you know what, we're moving here. Because that's what happens to a lot of people who go to New Zealand. It's like, and why don't I live here? Well, in her case, she pulled up stakes, and I think they were living in Paris at the time. I mean, can you imagine that, leaving Paris to go to New Zealand? Well, for a lot of people, especially people like me, it makes tremendous sense. And so that's what she did. So rather than just tell you about her, I'm going to write about her. What do you get when you take a Hungarian diplomat, move her around the world to the South Island of New Zealand, and leave her there without any significant means of employment? You get, what do you get when you... A very motivated entrepreneur with a world-class communication skill set and an amazing friend, an amazing skill set. That's my amazing friend. My amazing friend, Bea. Upon arrival in Kiwi land, she immediately set out to capitalize on what she knows best, creating connection, communication, and engagement, and meaningful. I'm going to add the word meaningful. Engagement via the nascent, still nascent, how about relatively nascent channels of social media. Dictionary, I want to make sure that I'm using nascent correctly, so I'm going to look it up. And let that be a lesson to any writers out there. Always have a dictionary open and easy to access because you're going to need it. Okay, so nascent, especially in a process or organization, just coming into existence and beginning to display signs of future potential. I don't really mean that. The relatively, via the relatively nascent, the relatively then novel channels. Novel as in new. You know, and I'll make sure that I'm not messing that up. Novel definition, newer and or unusual in an interesting way. Novel channels of social media. She started out by mastering the systems and understanding the engines behind them, and so that she could serve any company or individual who wanted or needed to avail themselves of these channels. And for a while, that was good. There are even today vast numbers of people and firms that know they should be using, including social in their marketing efforts, but need significant guidance, strategic, and tactical help to wrestle with this constantly changing ever hungry herd of shiny object channels. And for a while, that was good. Yeah. Through direct services, individual coaching, and group classes and seminars. Bea's been very successful in relatively. I've got relatively elsewhere. Is there? What's the other word for relatively? Relatively. English thesaurus. Comparatively. Comparatively. Comparative by comparison. Quite successful in relatively. I'll use relatively here. How about that? Oops. In relatively short time. But then things started to change. Not in the platforms she dealt with. Within herself. And put it within herself. And that's where things get a little personal brand interesting. Reason we get along. There's something we share. Significant love-hate relationship with social media. There. I said it. There, I said it. That which must not be said. Social media can be an intolerable pain in the you fill in the blank. This is where Bea and I really find, what do you call it? There, I said it. That which must not be said, especially by marketing professionals. Actually, modern day marketing professionals. Period. Concord agreement. This is find great Concord. Find great agreement. Although with me, it's more of a hate-love relationship. Why do we feel this way? Because we both feel the same thing. Social media's tremendous potential and that potential being actively destroyed by standard social media best practice. I could rant on this forever and may in a later book. But for now, I want to recognize this soul crushing reality in order to more effectively convey Bea's deep unease, yet hopeful excitement about this. Conveyed Dia's deep unease, yet hopeful excitement about this not going away. Restream. I'm gonna open up Restream chat. So if anybody's watching this and wants to say hello, you certainly can just by typing in. Let's see. We got one person watching. Woo woo. One person on Twitch. Hey, if you're on Twitch and you're watching and you want to ask a question, go ahead and do so just by typing in your comment box. And if I have things configured completely or correctly, your comments will show up and I'll be able to address them in real time. But until that comment happens, I'm going back to work. So I'll leave up that watching live thing here and you'll just watch me mumble and type. This not going away part of the world in which we all live and work. But just working, it isn't cutting it for Bea anymore. She's getting ready to unlock some personal brand power-ups and take her game to a whole new, more personally satisfying level of excellence. Why? Because her personal brand is demanding it. Can a personal brand take on a life of its own? If it doesn't, I think it qualifies as a personal brand. Well, Alex, that doesn't look right, but that's because I didn't do that. Now I need to do that. Back when I was an actor, it was not uncommon to hear fellow actor say? What's my motivation? It's become somewhat of a trite cliche, but it actually is a very good question. What that actor is saying is, I'm in the process of creating a character, and in order to make one that is coherent, consistent, and instantly recognizable as authentic, I need to understand to a very deep level what makes her tick. What makes her tick? All right. How far are we at? All right. I'm going to stop here. One of the reasons I want to stop is I'm feeling good at where I still want to think about this, because obviously I got a lot rolling through my head very quickly tonight. I wasn't expecting to get this much done. And I'm feeling good about it. But I'm also feeling a little wiped out because Lyme disease. Yeah, it hurts like a biatch. Body aches and all that stuff. At least the convulsing chills aren't happening the way they were last week. That was really nice. But I don't want to push it. And I'm feeling good about this, and I know where I want to pick up next time. So don't force it. You've still got time, David. In fact, tonight's episode is episode number 158 of 158 nearly consecutive days. I was out for a couple days, dead sick. And 158 days during this journey. I've got 143 left to go before December 31st, 2020. So I'm doing really well. Plus, I'm going to guess right now I'm at about 210 pages in a 6x9 book with 300 words per page, more or less. So I'm going to stop here because I need to take care of myself. I need to preserve my energy, and I need to be honest with myself in terms of what I can really get done at the end of a day. So that's it for today. So I'm going to say goodbye. This is my long-winded way of saying I'm done. So anyway, I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast. New podcast episodes come out every Monday. So this week we've got a first episode with Justin Baker, Fuzz Baker. He goes by Fuzz because that's his nickname, of Fuzz Social, based in Los Angeles. He works with a lot of voiceover actors on creating personal brands via their social media feeds that make them more attractive to casting agents and producers. Did you know that? Yeah, the people who voice over characters in, animated films or TV shows, if you have 500 followers versus someone who has 50,000 followers, It could be that the person who has the 50,000 followers gets the job because they have a fan base. Yeah, that's certainly true for actors, but I think it's true for everybody else. You don't have to have 50,000 fans, but if you have 5 fans in your industry and they're the right fans, the ones who actually move and shake things, yeah, that can really help. So anyway, that conversation with Justin Baker is really fun. I'd like you to check that out wherever you get fine podcasts for free. Just search Nonfiction Brand. You'll probably see my face when the cover art comes up, and you'll know it's the right thing. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, blah, 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 blah. Just about any place you could find podcasts for free. So check that out. And that's really it for me tonight. I want to thank you for helping keep me honest, keep me in this chair, and force me, even when I'm sick, to work on this book. Because the fact is, books don't get written unless you start writing. And in my case, you start typing. Because I tell you, when I start typing, it's like all of a sudden parts of my brain engage and then the ideas start flowing. But before that, it's like, I got nothing. Put your hand on the home row keys, start typing, and then start typing faster and faster and faster. That's how it works for me, and that's how it should work for you. Get down there, open up your book or your whatever, wherever you write, your yellow legal pad, open up a new document on your computer and start typing. And then all of a sudden, you'll find yourself writing. Why are writers called writers and not thinking about writing people? They're writers because they write. Oversimplification, I guess, but it's true. Anyway, I'm done for the night. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, but first, theme music. Take us on out.